Hi friends. Now I have the honor today of introducing to you Dr. IRTIQA Sheikh. She has a rank 41 in the November 2019 AIIMS, and it is a great achievement considering the number of students who sit for the November AIIMS exam is very big, and it is a great achievement to be in top 50 in such a premier institute in the country. IRTIQA, how are you feeling today?
Thank you, sir, for the all the blessings that you gave all of us. It feels so unreal being finally here, trying for all of the 3 years now. So it's a really good feeling, sir.
And did you imagine that you would be giving this interview in the past?
I've always imagined being sitting here with sir for especially for AIMS rank, and finally being here. It's a really amazing experience, sir.
And we are really proud of your achievement, and you have been a 2 year foundations course student in
Yes, sir.
DAMS Raipur,
Yes, sir.
and then you followed it up with a test and discussion in the DAMS Bhopal.
Yes, sir. Neat
And
test and discussion I joined
we
this
are,
year.
we are really proud of your journey, and I also want to mention at the outset before we understand her journey further, that she had a rank of 10,600 in the last NEET exam. She was not satisfied with it.
Yes.
She was not happy with it. She said, nothing doing, I'll give it one more year. And she gave 1 year, 11 months to be precise, of hard work. And now she has a rank 41 in this AIIMS exam. When she would have started this journey, a lot of people would not have believed that it would be possible to improve from 10,000 to top 50. So, this is what I want to understand, that when you made that decision, what kind of pressure did you feel, that a lot of people would have
Hmm.
told you अगली बार तो और खराब हो जाएगा,
So
then like that, huh?
actually, I knew I had more potential. I didn't study really seriously last year, so I knew I could do better. So actually, it didn't affect me what everyone around was saying ki you should take some seat and you should go forward. I knew what I have to do, and I knew that I can do much better than how I performed last year. So I was knowing that I have to go and take a TND this year.
So I think that clarity in your own mind also, it always helps, because if you are clear, then there are
Yes,
no voices to be
yes, sir.
heard by people. But
Exactly.
if you're not clear, you'll always hear people telling you this and that and that.
Yes, sir.
So
That is
this
there.
is such an amazing thing to hear from you. So I want to know from your journey, like how did you utilize the classes when you were in your final year,
Hmm.
and the internship, those regular course and the foundation course days. How
Yes,
did
sir.
you utilize the classes at that time?
So actually, I joined it in my final year at DAMS Raipur, and then I continued with the same regular course in my internships. Just to make concise and complete notes of all the classes, I attended that seriously, and but I couldn't read it. I knew I was good at the concepts, but I was lagging at the factual things and more of knowledge based things. So mainly that was my weakness earlier. Then that's why I decided to join a TND NEET TND course, because NEET asks more of knowledge based things and factual things. That is the reason why I joined NEET, though my target was actually always AIMS. So, and then in May, they say this new pattern came that now they'll be giving all these extensive questions. So, with that, they assess you more on knowledge also now. So, actually, that played a good role that I joined such things, and because that I can improve my knowledge.
And that is a very good point that you brought up, that with the kind of questions that we have, multiple true false, match the following, these are like 5 facts, 6 facts
Yes,
asked
sir.
in one question.
Yes, sir.
So no, although we tend to say that like in the May exam there were those eponymous fractures to be matched,
Yes, sir.
or they
Exactly.
might give some deformities to be matched and
Yes,
all
sir.
that. That there is a role of factual knowledge also in the AIIMS exam,
Yes,
which
sir.
sometimes gets overlooked. But when you have to, when you're sitting at her rank, and those 5 6 questions, they help you to break the top 100 barrier, come into top 50, and
Yes,
they
sir.
become very vital at that
Yes,
time.
sir. Exactly.
Yeah. And I also want to know from you, like, what role do you think making notes has when you are revising in the end? How handy those notes were, that you spent
Yes,
two
sir.
years to
Yes, sir.
collect that material. So when you were revising and when you were doing TND, did you think that now you have something ready made in your hand?
Yes, sir, definitely. I've always believed in my handwritten notes. Even in my like college days, I used to make it from read the books and make my own notes, because your own notes you have heard in the class, you have understood what was taught, so you have a different kind of memory behind those notes, and it's very easy and fast to revise what you write after thinking and hearing what is happening in the class. There were classes that I missed, and I got a xerox from my friend's notes, but I was not never satisfied reading those, so I again attended the classes in my internships for the classes I missed in my final year, just to get the notes. So, but those are the prime things. Notes is the basic. You
No, and
have to
I
have
would like
them.
to add it here that, because a lot of times the listeners they get confused that what do we mean by notes? Because today, in the PG entrance, scenario, a lot of people would be saying, I am selling this notes and all that. So it's very important when we say notes, notes means the notes which the candidate is making herself or
Yes.
himself when they
Hmm.
is sitting in the class, understanding and writing it down. And because you have done it yourself, they are more easy to read for you. But the same notebook, if you give to somebody else,
Exactly.
each one has different nuances to write something and different way of how your brain communicates with the notebook.
Yes,
So
sir.
that is where, like she
Yes, sir.
mentioned, she took a notebook from a friend, but you're not convinced, you're
Yes,
not
sir.
happy with it,
Yes,
and you are not
exactly.
able to, relate to it, I
Yes,
think.
and you won't even remember it. Other notes will be like, okay, I wrote it there, wrote it in that corner. So it will be more relatable if you think and write and hear.
I made the same mistake when I was in first year in MBBS. In my college, in my first MBBS, if you miss a class, outside the class there would be some photocopy guy, and everybody would be getting
Yes,
photocopied.
sir.
And at the end of my first year, I realized that whatever I had gotten photocopied, I had never used it in my life.
Same,
I
sir,
could
with
not even
me. Yes,
open them
sir,
because
exactly.
they don't feel like
Like
reading somebody
reading.
else's
Yes, sir.
handwriting. So that also plays a part. I think I also want to know that when you came to TND later on
Yes, sir.
after the
Hmm.
regular classroom program, now the transition is between that TND is a primarily a test, a question based
Yes,
course
sir.
with discussions around
Hmm.
it. Now, did that help you to develop that application part that once you've done the notes, were you able to utilize that?
Definitely, sir. That was mainly what I was lagging last year. I had read the notes, but I was still not able to score well in my GTs. And after TND, I started knowing, okay, the questions are asked from this specific areas, or from these topics, and what are actually important, and even in those topics, what are the things that are frequently asked. So I think because these are not theory based exams, you have to be more MCQ oriented. You have to have that ki, okay, these are the topics which are must. So that orientation, definitely TND gives that orientation, and solving question banks and giving tests. So
And
it's
were
very
you able to,
important.
maintain your schedule synchronous with the TND schedule? Or did you consciously try that, that I finish my topic before the test or?
Yes, sir. I actually used to keep like one subject I'll complete whichever TND is in the next coming week, and one my own subject. So I used to
Okay.
do approx like two subjects a week, just so that I can end it on time and then revise it
Okay.
again.
And that's a good idea that, maybe of your weak subjects
Yes,
is
sir.
going on the side also so that
Yes,
you don't.
sir. Exactly.
What subject would you call as your weak subject? Like
Some
how did you, plug that gap in the
So mainly
internship?
my weak subjects were the first year anatomy, biochemistry, and microbiology from the second year, pharma. These all were really weak when I started, but like I did almost 3 4 revisions of notes for these all subjects, and after I did, I never thought I will feel confident in these 3 4 subjects, but yeah, the revisions and the solving questions actually really helped.
And did the video solutions of the GTs and SWTs they also help to bridge that gap in these subjects?
Yes, sir, definitely. Like, especially for the weak subjects, I used to see the videos, because most of the time I couldn't complete all the videos. But yeah, for the weak subjects and for the things like I have done wrong, or whichever is the weakest in my last GT, I used to see and do more work on those subjects.
Do you think giving a GT gives you an insight into, like, how would one know that these are my weak subjects? Like, like a topper like you has an insight, but somebody might not know that this is my weak area. So do you think that when we give the GT, they should spend some time analyzing that which are the areas consistently they are not doing well?
Yes, sir. That's actually what I did, because one of my seniors told me that you should always see the almost like last 2 3 subjects which are persistent. So I was seeing, and it was like FMT and anatomy, all these were coming to always very low. So I worked more on these subjects, and in like later part of my test, these were among the top 5 6 subjects. So actually, it really helps. Giving a GT is not just giving the test. You need to realize and analyze the test and work on what is actually weak. And you can suppress your strong subjects for a while, but like don't really ignore them. But yeah, weak topics should be worked more upon.
Now, like, if I may put that, why you have been able to improve from a 10,000 odd rank in the January NEET to a 41 rank in 10 months, if I put it in a nutshell, what I feel is that you subconsciously and consciously you analyzed where you were going wrong,
Yes, sir.
and you found that you had the content, you had the notes, but you could not, that application part was lacking, so you converted your course into a TND in internship
Yes,
in
sir.
the drop year.
Drop
And then another thing that you did correctly was that you analyzed the things that you were not doing right, and you put more work on your weaknesses,
Yes, sir.
which is like a very important thing. I think it is a if there is a take home message from this interview, should be you have to work on your weaknesses to improve. Because many students who come to me and they say, sir, I am weak in pharmacology, they will say this in the January. Then in the May they will come and say, I am weak in pharmacology. In November they will come and say, I'm weak in pharmacology. After the result they will come and say,
Yes,
I'm weak
sir.
in pharmacology. So if you know you're weak in it, then why you're not working, why you're not putting those extra hours into it? Kill it. You have to control the weaknesses, because in an exam like AIIMS, which is the premier most institute, you can't have like 4 subjects which are weak and you get into top 50.
Yes, sir, that is there, because these are the basic sciences. First and second year subjects are really important for
Especially
AIIMS.
for AIIMS.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Yeah.
So I always knew that I have to, bridge this gap. And like I saw one of your motivational videos on YouTube about how to utilize time, and you can't there are no excuses if you want to do something. So I think that really motivated me
Plus, there are no
to
consolation
not give
prizes
any
also. Na?
excuses.
There are no consolation prizes also in real life. Either you
Yes,
win
sir.
or
You will lose.
So
Yes, sir.
so that is what I is in an exam like AIIMS. Suppose somebody has a rank 2000, which is a fairly decent rank out of 50 60,000 students. You get a rank 2000, fairly decent rank, but in the end you get nothing out of it. So there's no, you can't tell 20 years later that okay, I was also in the top 2000 in
Yes, sir.
you have to make it count.
Count.
And that is where
Exactly.
that killer instinct, that working on weaknesses, that fire is required.
Yes, sir.
So that is where I really appreciate the way you have gone about things. Did you also utilize the AIIMS capsule and the emergency medicine capsule on the eMedicos app?
Yes, sir. Like I made notes out of those capsules, and then I used to revise them. Emergency medicine I saw like I saw that course last year, and AIIMS capsule I saw in the last month of AIIMS, and I used to go through it. So it really helped, because it covers all the major topics that are asked in AIIMS, and it's really great to revise at such a speed when you are so near the exam.
And our purpose of these courses are that these are like smaller capsules which like you have 2 days. You don't you are too anxious to study yourself.
Yes, sir.
Just put on
Exactly.
those capsule videos and finish them in 2 days.
Yes,
And
sir.
teachers would touch upon all the important areas and they kind of refresh everything.
Yes, sir. Actually, videos have helped me in a way, because when you don't feel like studying, it's better to do a passive learning. I think I saw that in some post or somewhere on the club itself from some of the faculties, and I thought I'll just use it, and I actually suggested it to a lot of people that when you're not feeling like reading, that happens to you a lot of times, just do passive reading, see the videos, or just go through the questions. So actually that really helps, and you see, okay, I'm doing this wrong consistently, then you feel like, okay, I have to do this better. So that actually then you will start using active modes also, so that helps at those times.
You mentioned about the Dams Club. Like, did you enjoy being on the Dams Facebook club? And
Yes, definitely. Like all the doubts, and even after TNDs, teachers will put the post to post the doubts. So actually it was very helpful. It's very interactive, not just for education and knowledge point of view, but I think for this long journey you always need a constant source of motivation as well. And that was one of my biggest source of motivation because all the teachers, Sumer sir, daily in morning he'll put some phrases or paragraphs. So I think in morning that really motivated me to go throughout the day. And then whenever you are feeling low, you can always like go and watch motivational videos. And there are a lot small videos even sir has posted on YouTube. That really helped me.
And I also want to know from you, like, now you have given the AIIMS exam and the PGI exam both.
Yes, sir.
How do you think the papers were different or similar? Like, what was your, and how should a future aspirant who's preparing for both? Because when you're preparing, you do not know, like, will I get my desired seat in AIIMS or PGI? You're preparing for both.
Yes, sir.
So, what was the difference between the exams?
Actually, like this year, AIMS was a bit different from other AIMS. Like I have given last year and in May also. It was pretty different and it was more on practical knowledge kind of oriented and not just on what you read. So that was more of application of what you have been taught in the class. So real time application of what was taught. And PGI was more of definitely knowledge based, and it was also, I think it was different from my previous attempts at PGI. But definitely the topics and the subject weightage was near to what they have given in the prospectus. So that was their medicine, obs gynae. Though obs gynae was a bit different, but yeah, the weightage remains the same. And definitely, if there are questions that you don't feel you have read ever, so I don't think you should be really be fearing it about those questions in the exam, because if like most of the teachers and Sandeep Sharma sir say, if you don't know, nobody knows. So just don't think about that in the exam and keep going. That is it.
And I would like to add here is that when we compare the May AIIMS with November AIIMS, now I have a feeling that in the last 2 years I've seen that November AIIMS tends to favor people because people who are just passed out, because
Yes, sir.
there's no rote learning questions.
Yes,
They've
sir.
reduced a lot,
Exactly.
and in the May there would be some theoretical questions
Yes, sir.
also.
That
So
is there.
did you feel the same when you appeared for the May and November both?
Yes, sir. Because last year also in November I gave AIMS, and it was more of like emergencies will have a lot more higher weightage as compared to May AIMS. And also other subjects, like this time ortho came, like there were a lot of questions from
Yeah.
ortho, and it was my one of the weakest subjects. So yeah, because you can never totally predict, but yeah, you can do what is predictable. So that is there.
And it is also a good idea that you do not miss out on any subject. Like sometimes, you may have a prejudice that in AIIMS they will not ask short subject. But sometimes, like this time orthopedics was a surprise.
Yes, sir.
Sometimes, ophthalmology in the past, if you look at like 5 6 years down the line, there have been papers where ophthalmology was asked a lot
Hmm.
in the past in
Yes, sir.
2015 or so. You can't take it for granted that I leave one subject. So if you want to get into top 15 names, I believe that you should be a jack of all trades, but you should know what has been asked in the last 3 years,
Yes, sir.
what topics are important, both in look at their choices also and the topics also, and have an idea on the entire scenario.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
That is there. Like you cannot leave any subjects. Except I think anesthesia. I used to read it very less, and even this time they didn't give a lot of questions because it's mainly you have to learn things in anesthesia. And what I have seen is that in anesthesia they will give one or two questions that are atypical. That even if you have read, you won't be
Yeah.
able to attempt them. So if like least priority, I gave it to anesthesia. If all the subjects are taken into account, but yeah, definitely you have to read everything, all the subjects.
And in DAMS on the e-medicos we have those previous paper solution available, and I strongly recommend that anybody who's appearing for the JIPMER exam in the coming week should go through the JIPMER previous videos, and before PGI you should look at the previous PGI, and so respective exam previous papers should be looked at. They always help to get a feel of the exam before the real exam, so that you're not surprised on the day of the exam that how, oh my god, what the exam is feeling like. So, and that always helps you to be in control on the day of the exam, and that is the key to reach break the barrier of the 50 and get into top 50, just like she has done this year. We're really, really proud of her achievement. And I now want to know from you any particular teachers that you remember today.
So first of all, I like to thank all the like teachers who have taught me my weakest subjects, like Pradeep Pawar sir. I was so frightened of anatomy before I attended his class. In surgery, definitely Rajiv Tiwari sir. The way he taught GIT was so amazing. Like you don't have to remember everything, just the concepts, and you can apply it everywhere. Then for medicine, Srinath sir. I really like his way of teaching first physiology and then pathology and then finally coming on to the disease. Uh, uh, and also for CFM, like one of my colleagues said, there is a pre Siddharth phase and there is a post Siddharth phase. So, yeah, uh, Siddharth sir. Then for ophthalmology, Saurav sir, Deepak Arora sir for ENT, Sachin Arora sir for psychiatry, and definitely Sumer sir for all the motivation. And yeah, radiology was also very interactive. And like I have never studied from Deepthi ma'am as such, but yeah, in TND it was the first time when I attended her class, and it was really interactive. And the way she's so active on the club and she keeps motivating all of us. Thank you all of you so
Like
much for
we are really,
everything.
really proud of your achievement, and we
Yeah.
all wish you all the best for your future as well. Any like it has been a journey that you have been with us for 3 years, and during the journey there were ups and downs. There
Yes,
were
sir.
ranks which went your way, ranks which did not
Yes,
go
sir.
your way. How did you manage the motivation part in between? Like what did you tell yourself when the things were not going yourself? You know
Yes, sir.
what did you tell yourself that okay, I'll one day I'll prove it to the people? How did you manage this?
So actually, there are your constants who play a major role. I think my parents, they have always motivated me to pursue whatever I feel like. So their courage and hard work has really paid off, I think. And definitely, as I mentioned earlier, also the posts and the videos, that whenever you are feeling low, because I think those phases come in everybody's preparation. I used to watch these interviews, the one I'm giving right now, of earlier toppers, and they always used to say, okay, everyone has these phases, but these are the ways you can cut off them. So these videos, and definitely the thing that I wanted to crack the exam, so I knew that you are not given any excuses, so you have to go on. You can take breaks, but you should not stop until it's over. So
So,
I,
to put it in a nutshell, seek positivity from wherever you can.
yes,
Continue
sir.
till the time you reach to your goal. Don't stop in between. You have to repeatedly tell yourself that I'm meant for something big.
Yes,
And
sir.
here she is. She believed in it in January this year after the NEET rank. She continued believing it. Now she is at rank 41, top 50 in the November AIIMS. Awesome performance, Ritika. May I ask which branch are you looking for?
Sir, I'm a bit confused, but I'm thinking of medicine, so let's see.
Let's pray that you get the branch of your choice in the institute of your choice.
Thank you,
Heartiest
sir.
congratulations. Convey my regards and congratulations to your
Thank you,
parents as
sir.
well. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Congratulations.